All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to tonight's cooking class. My name is Jorge Montes. We're here in Rojo Kitchen, and welcome to today's homemade chef's cooking class. So, grab your friends, grab your wife, grab the kids, whoever. You grab a glass of wine. Just grab something, sit down, relax, and let's get ready to cook. I'm missing my bell today, but I think I left it on vacation. So I'm happy to be back, back in the mix here. And today we have a nice recipe that I'm going to show you. I have some nice wine that we're going to pair with that. So today we're going to do shrimp and scallops in a pink vodka sauce with fettuccine. So this is a good, easy recipe. You get to learn how to make pink sauce, so it's good to always have a sauce under your belt. And you can adapt this recipe with chicken or vegetarian, any of the protein that you like. But today I'm gonna do with seafood. I like the pink sauce has a nice robust, piquant kind of taste, and the vodka it gives it that a little bit of intensity. Kind of helps kind of break down the tomato. It's gonna be creamy, so it's a very uh, luscious kind of sauce. So it's not your basic marinara. All right. So we're gonna get started. If you guys have any questions, please feel free. We got Joe in the ones and twos back there. So please feel free to make any comments, any mentions. I also just got an update. We're gonna have a giveaway after the class. Stay tuned. Uh, I don't know the details yet, but I know the price, and we're gonna give away a free wine kit for two people for this Friday's cooking class. This Friday's wine tasting. So, and if you don't know that we have a wine tasting, like what the heck's going on, guys? You watch me all the time. I want to watch you join me and be part of our next event. So, is everybody ready? I think so. What do you say, Joe? We should start. Let's get the party cracking. All right. So first, we're gonna start with the foundation of cooking, a little sofrito, a little aromatic. So we're gonna start with some onion and some garlic. I have 10 cloves of garlic already crushed and chopped. You don't want to see me do that. And I'm gonna dice up this red onion. You can use a white onion, but this sauce has a little more character, so the red onion is gonna go nice in there. So we're gonna dice this up. Half, you can do a pot. I'm using a wider pan so you guys can get a better shot at this. Uh, but this will work. And let me get that on low. Just gonna keep that on low, try to get the pan warming up. So whenever you're sauteing stuff, you don't want to start with a cold pan. And this is a professional kitchen trick. You know, a lot of restaurants, when they're busy, they have all the pans already lined up, high heat. If they want them nice and hot, or you can keep them nice and low, if you know you're gonna time yourself with the dicing. So here I'm just gonna dice this onion while that gets warm. All right, so we're gonna dice this up and cut this in half. Get your nice dice. Get your little strips here. So you make a couple parallel cuts. Then you make some cuts going this way. Mind you, I'm not going all the way through. I'm going about 3/4 of the way or as far as I can without having the onion fall apart. Look at that. So then you turn it back this way and you're going to get your nice dice. Don't worry about perfection here because we're going to puree this sauce. So don't give me this little, oh my God, it's not perfect. We'll survive. All right.
George, a couple of shout outs real quick.
All right, we got some shout outs.
Lena Mayfair joining us from London.
Hi, Lena. Thank you for joining us from London, all the way from London. Cheerio.
Doug Mays, hello, Sandy Steele.
And my friends, of course, Doug, Sandy Steele.
Sandy Casco, this is her first class.
Sandy Casco?
Yeah.
Hi, Sandy. Sandy's. I'm glad this is your first class. Thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for the love and support always. Please, if you're doing a watch party, press watch party. It doesn't hurt anything if you're watching already. So let's get the party started. All right. So I got this on. Let me get this cranking now. I'm gonna get the pan hot. So I'm gonna put the recipe calls for half a cup of olive oil. So we're gonna use only half of that right now. So that's a quarter. Half of a half is a quarter. See? Now we're doing virtual schooling. So I'm gonna put some oil in there. Get that nice and going. I got my garlic standing by, and just give us a second. And we have a nice Italian wine, but I'm gonna get to that later. But if you want to grab a glass of wine, go ahead. All right, so I give it about a couple seconds. Remember, I had this on low. It's the oil starting to be fluid and flow, so that gives me enough reason to start sauteing. Who's in the house?
Peru is in the house.
Peru's in the house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sylvia from Peru.
Oh, we got Sylvia from Peru. Hi guys.
A few people said welcome back, Chef. You were missed.
Yeah, miss you guys as well. Had a nice little vacation, so now I'm back in the mix. I'll be with you guys till the end of the year. Ooh, just in time for hurricane season and then the holidays. So I'm giving this a little mix up. I want to make sure that all the oils lubricate all the onions and everybody's nice and happy and smothered up. And now I'm gonna add the garlic as well. Right? 10 cloves of garlic, and it sounds like a lot of garlic. It is a lot of garlic, but it's a lot of flavor. So don't freak out. If you don't want to put it, don't put it. No, put more, put some more. Remember, you're the chef of your kitchen. I'm just here to guide you in your journey. All right. So let me put a little salt and pepper. That's gonna help them sweat a little bit. I'm sweating a little bit, and a little black pepper. Always get a fresh grinder. This is what they call a rubirosa. I'm gonna let you Google that one. That's a fun fact. Wink. All right. A little salt and pepper. Gives it a nice mix up, and we're gonna let this cook. Any foundation of any good sauce, you always have to saute. You have your aromatics. Normally some garlic, could be onions. You can go French and do mirepoix, which is carrots, celery, and onions. In the Latin world, we do a sofrito, and then you got peppers and other little spices in there. Or in New Orleans, they have the Holy Trinity, which is onion, celery, and garlic. So everybody has their own foundation, but everybody in the collective knows that you need to have foundation of flavors, and this is where it's at. So we're gonna let this cook. We'll put just a little bit more oil. Nice. All right. So let me show you what we got while we wait for that. We got some nice little bay scallops. You can get bigger ones. These are nice. We got some tiger shrimp. Boom. They're already peeled in the vein, ready to go. I have some vodka. I have some heavy cream. Have some oregano, and I have some basil, and I have some scallions. So while we wait while that's going, I'm gonna start plucking some basil leaves and keep that ready. I'm just gonna get them out of the stem. I know the recipe says for basil chopped. You can chop it, or I'm even gonna deviate from my recipe. I'm just gonna tear it. Good old Italians like to say, "They love me, you love me not." So when you tear a leaf, you kind of follow the organic flow of the leaf, and it doesn't turn brown. So it looks nice, feels rustic, and and it's nice. Cooking is an awesome thing. I always say that I love it because you get really submersed in this. So it's always good to impart your touch, and your personal touch is this, your hands and your intent. So make sure you're in a good mood. Don't be cooking for someone all upset here. All right. So we're getting a little color. I'm just going to get this a little mixed up. We don't want to let it burn. But once you get a little color, flip them around. Make sure everything's on the surface of the pan. You don't want stuff sticking to the side. You want everything in the middle. All right. Let me keep plugging my leaves while I wait over here. Italian music should be playing right now. In my head, it is. All right. Remember, you have any questions about substitutions? Maybe I can guide you. But this is a nice sauce to have under your belt. So keep a couple here for garnish. And next, after this, we're going to chop up some scallions. Getting all our mise en place, all our ingredients ready to go. All right, so that's smelling really good. I think we're going to move on to the next step. And you can use any vodka. Does it have to be fancy vodka? Save your fancy vodka for your martinis and your cocktails. Use something normal. Whatever your house stuff. You don't have to go out cheap and give me the pop off or one of these really bottom of the barrel stuff. So don't go nuts with that. All right, so we're gonna add diced tomatoes. These are canned diced tomatoes. Can you use fresh? Yes, but most sauces in it are made with nice, fresh canned tomatoes. Put that in there. Look at that. And we're gonna saute these. Gonna dry out some of that moisture from the tomatoes. You're gonna cook them up a little bit for about 2 minutes before we add our next ingredient. While I wait for that, I'm gonna continue my basil plucking. All right, basil pluckers over there. All right, give it a little 2 minutes on the cook down. It's gonna help stew the tomatoes a little bit, marry that with the onions and the garlic, give it nice and good. And then next we're gonna add our vodka. You gotta be careful because vodka has a lot of alcohol. So if you're using an open flame, be careful. I'm gonna show you. You're gonna turn off the flame when you add it, and then when we add it back, we might get this fancy uh, flame. Does the flame add flavor? No. Uh, it's just dramatic and it looks cool. But you got to be careful. You don't want the whole house to burn down. Trying to show off here with my flambe. Uh, the most important thing is that you do it properly so no one gets hurt. And alcohol needs to heat up at first. So once it heats up, it's going to be nice and warm. Then it needs to touch the flame. So for it to light up. So sometimes you're like, oh, I didn't catch on fire. You can put a lighter stick or tilt the pan to the flame. All right. So vodka time. Yep, smells like vodka. It's not water. I'm not tasting this. I'm not having shot the vodka on the Tuesday. Nice. So I'm gonna turn off the flame. Enter vodka. Now, if you're saying I don't really want vodka, I feel like I'm gonna get my kids drunk. If you cook it down, the alcohol is gonna evaporate, and the flavor is gonna concentrate. Now, you're probably saying, what kind of flavor does vodka bring to the table? It's mild, but since we put plenty of it, it's gonna give you this little astringent kind of like. It's gonna help stew the tomatoes and give it everything some love here. So I'm gonna turn this back on, let it heat up, and let's see if it catches on fire. Very careful. This is where I got my long spoon, so I'm not on top of this and catches on fire. Now it's starting to boil. Let's see if that goes on fire for me. Boom, there we go. Now we're cooking with fire. Don't mess with it. Take your pictures, get your little campfire look, fireballs, whatever you want to do, but respect the heat. The challenge of every chef is to manipulate heat. So you don't want to play with it, especially in your house. You don't want to burn down the place, and hopefully the fire thing doesn't go off here. We put a lot of vodka in here, so I'm gently just kind of moving the tomatoes around, and this feels like we're at the campfire over here, making s'mores. So just be careful with the kids. And remember, the alcohol is burning away, so they're not going to get boozy. If you don't want to go with the vodka feel, uh, then you can do white wine. That works really good. And I'm just posing for a shot here over here. Hey guys, Disco Inferno over here. All right, so this should be mellowing out soon. I'm gonna add the cream. So heavy cream, butter or cream with tomatoes and a sauce makes the whole thing really, really, really nice. It's gonna add this very, very creamy, cream touch. So I got some dry oregano that's gonna give us some nice herbaceousness and stew over here. And I'm gonna add the cream. The cream should help put out the fire. All right, enough of that. Fire, fire, fire. All right, oregano in there. Boom.
We have our first question, Chef,
And we have a question.
from Sylvia in Peru.
All right, from Peru, Sylvia.
Can she use pisco?
Oh, great question. So the question was, can she use pisco? I'm from Peru, and I'm gonna say yes. I will do maybe a little bit less. So do half the amount of vodka to pisco, because pisco is a little stronger, and pisco is a great addition. And now I'm gonna have to try it. So yes, Celia, pisco. Y viva Perú, carajo. All right, so now we get the cream. This is gonna cook down. The recipe says 20 minutes. I'm gonna try to stretch the time and talk about wine while that goes. So now we're making the sauce. So sauces take time. This could go 30 minutes if you like. You know, you want this. You want to cook down the cream. You want to reduce that. The cream, let that evaporate as well. You want this to concentrate, and it's gonna give you this creamier texture that I've been talking about. So at the same time, I have a pot of water boiling for my fettuccine, and the fettuccine is from the box. I didn't make it. I'm showing you here. I'm trying to keep it simple for you guys. But you can make your pasta if you're fancy, and if you have it, fresh pasta is always the way to go. All right, so let me give this a taste. You always want to season and taste as you go. You don't want to wait till the end and hope for the best. You know, you're molding this up. You're shaping this up. This is just like art. You start with something, pull back, look at it. In this case, taste it, and submerge yourself in what you do. Nice. I still get the little bit of the vodka, so that's gonna cook down, and it's gonna what they call a reduction. What's a reduction is just letting the water evaporate so it can reduce and concentrate all the flavors. So I'm leaving on the edge. I might lower just a little bit here. Give this another little stir. All right. So that's gonna do its thing. We're gonna puree this in a little bit when it's done. Maybe a little too low. Alrighty then. All right, so that's going. That's good and good. Let me move this over here. We got our basil standing by. Next, we're gonna chop up is some scallions. So I'm gonna trim just the white part over here. Put those aside. And you can say that for your stocks and stuff. You don't want to have waste. And we are gonna use the whole thing, whole bunch of scallions, which we're gonna chop up in there. Scallions gonna give a nice little crunch and nice little balance. The herbs and a little bit of that vodka kick in there with the creamy tomatoes, with the cream and the tomatoes, gonna be really, really nice. All right, so let me have these chopped up, ready to go. So this is the way you cook. While the sauce is going, you got other things going on. So I have my water boiling for my pasta, which I'm gonna add that right now once I'm done with this. And the trick is timing, especially. Well, I mean, it's only even trickier doing this live. So at home, you don't have that rush. I'm trying to tie it all up together at the same time. So if I can do it, and while you're watching me, you can do it when no one's watching you. So.
Question here, Chef. The cream, do you have any suggestions for a heavy cream substitute?
Okay, cream. The question was, we just got a question. Is there a suggestion for a heavy cream substitute? I'm not sure if you want to go vegan or you just don't want to omit the cream fully, but you can make this also with evaporated milk. So you can do a little evaporated milk, and if you don't have the cream, add the evaporated milk, and you can add a couple pats of butter too, about a couple tablespoons of ice cold butter at the end, and you puree it, and that will complement that really well, really nice too. If you want to go maybe omit the cream because you're vegan, coconut milk. Mine is going to be a little coconutty, but coconut milk will work nice too. It just gives it a little sweeter, different tone. And most people won't know. They'll be like, what's in there? It's very nice. All right. So chopped up my scallions. I'm gonna put them in here. Have these guys ready.
Chef, one more question on the
We got a question?
substitute, if you don't mind. They want to know, do you think tequila would be a good option?
All right, you guys are getting excited with the alcohol. All right, so the question was, instead of vodka, can we substitute with tequila? And I'm gonna go yes. I think tequila and tomatoes go good. Now that we're adding different alcohols, remember vodka is a little more neutral, so go lighter. So I would start maybe a third of what the recipe calls. I think the recipe calls 1 to 1.5 cups of vodka. So maybe do half a cup of tequila and check it out because you don't want the alcohol to overwhelm it. I mean, you could do brandy, and that goes really good with tomato as well. So cream, in French cooking, there's a lot of uh, dark liquors used with cream sauces and tomatoes. So it will work. It'll be funky, but it's good. It's part of expressing yourself and trying new things. And if you don't like it, then don't, it didn't work. Try something else. But it should work really nice. All right. Just keep an eye. I don't want this to bubble over. If it does bubble over, please somebody tell me. All right. All right. So fettuccine is gonna go in the water. You got boiling water with a little bit of salt. This is your regular box fettuccine. Not going too fancy. Keeping it home, semi-homemade kind of deal. And I'm gonna dump that. Be right back. Right here. Boom. Right in the mix. And I'm gonna give it a little mix up. You don't want to just dump the pasta and forget it. So I'm gonna give it a little swirl. Can you use any kind of other pastas? Yes, of course. Check out your pantry, see what you have. This works nice. I like the long noodles for this sauce, but penne will work really well. It's really good with this as well. So you can do like a chicken penne alla vodka. That goes nice, or the bow ties, the farfalle. This goes really good. This is a very robust tomato cream sauce, so it works with a lot of stuff. Even angel, just go a little light on the sauce. I mean, you don't want to go too crazy with the sauce. All right, so I mix my pasta. That's swirled around. That's going good. So all that should be remaining, guys, is your shrimp, your scallops, and I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil on the shrimp and the scallops. I'm also gonna season them with a little bit of salt and pepper, and you just have these ready. I'm gonna have these just standing by. This helps cooking. You want to have all your whatever you can get ahead and all the prep work, get out the way. Makes it so much easier. So I'm just gonna mix this, just salt and pepper. If you want to go spicy here, you could put some chili flakes right now on the seafood. That'll give it a nice little kick. But I'm gonna keep it semi-mild here. All right, that's nice and stirred and ready to go. And we also have our basil and our scallion standing by. So we're gonna add that after we puree the sauce. Sauce, we're gonna give us another 7 to 10 minutes, which gives me just enough time to let you know about this delicious wine. So let's give this a little try. I've never had it before, but I trust my friend Harmeet Aurora from Fine Spirits, and he sponsored the wine today. So this, he told me he didn't want to go pedestrian and give you a Sauvignon Blanc because we're doing seafood. So any white wine, a crispy white wine might work. But the key thing, the main thing today is the sauce. So we get a nice, this is a Niposano Riserva of 2016, a Chianti Rufina. The grape is Sangiovese. So this should stand with the sauce, the strong flavors of vodka, tomato, and the cream. So I got my little aerator. And if you haven't been to any of the wine tastings, you're missing out because we got a lot more fun stuff that we tell you on these things. Uh, but get one of these guys. The aerators are good. Farm has a good price on these. There's a special on the wine today, by the way. So I forgot the price. I think 29. I got the paper. Let me hook up Joe with some wine first. Here, switcheroo. Wine for you, wine for me. Vodka for the sauce. All right. So if you're wondering what the heck is this apparatus, this is called an aerator. This is going to help incorporate air into the wine, which is going to help it bloom and open up. So a lot of restaurants they decant it, or they put it in a decanter, or before you drink the wine, you should be given that swirl, and that swirl action that you do, it's incorporating air into the wine. Therefore, when you drink it, it opens up the flavors. It kind of what I say blooms. So all the flavors blooms. The bouquet should come out a little bit more. And you're probably the bouquet. What the heck are you talking about? The bouquet is not a bunch of beautiful flowers that came out of the wine. The bouquet is that nice little cloud of smoke, almost like a bouquet of flowers, but a bouquet of the scent of the wine. All right, I'm gonna try the wine, but don't forget this guy.
17.99 if they mention the video.
All right, so 17.99 if you mention the video. I think it's $25 regular retail. So it's a pretty good deal. But let's see the real deal right here. So let's try this. Always give it a little smell first. Remember the bouquet. Tilt the glass so the alcohol can shoot up because there's alcohol in here. And you can get a nice scent. I like the right side. You can try your left side. But my right side, I think, is my most acute side. This is nice. Yeah, this is going to go great with the sauce. And the seafood. The seafood does add this little bravado from the sea. So don't just immediately think seafood, oh, I got to run and get my white wine. Red wine goes really nice with seafood, especially like shellfish, because shellfish has a lot of flavor of the sea. They're really, really potent stuff. So that tastes really, really good. Can't wait to try it with the pasta. So this is almost ready. Give it a couple minutes, and we're gonna blend this. So you're gonna need a blender if we're gonna be blending, right? So get my blender ready. Any other questions, guys? This is your time, the time of your life. And I'm gonna taste the sauce before we blend this. Oh yeah, this is almost ready to go. I'm gonna turn it off. Turn it off. Let it cool down for a second before. I don't want it piping boiling when I blend it. So be get another warning. Whenever you blend a hot sauce, you want to make sure that you don't put it on full blast when you blend it because the you know everything's pressurized when you put the top on, and if it's hot, you're gonna create this even more pressure, and then when you turn it on, it's just gonna explode, which means the top's gonna go up, and you're gonna have hot sauce all over the place, your face, everywhere. So you want to avoid that. I gave you the warning. Sometimes you get excited in the kitchen and you forget about the hazards of it. So I'm giving the fettuccine another look before I commit to the sauce, and it's about halfway ready. So it gives us a little bit more time.
Question from Maria Romero.
Hey, we got a question, guys.
Can I use an immersion blender?
Okay, great question. The question was, can they use an immersion blender? The immersion blender is that stick blender that has this little thing, and then you just stick it in there, and minus the sound effects. Yeah, you can use that. Works good. I prefer the blender better because the blender to me makes it a little smoother, but you can use the immersion blender. All right. So blender ready to go on deck. I'm gonna get a little rubber spatula to help me channel everything into the blender, and my little towel here. Now, if you want this a little more tomatoey, you can add more tomatoes. If you wanted more vodka, go ahead do your vodka, but you don't want to put too much vodka. You want to, this it's a sauce. It's not a. We're not making a martini here. Darling, fetch me a martini. All right, got that in the mix. Put this aside over here. Fettuccine's almost ready. All right. Put a top on over here. Put this on low. I'm gonna start low, and you can gradually put it a little higher. I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera. You can. All right. Sometimes I like to put a towel on top and hold the top a little bit. But if you do it progressively from low to slow, it should steam out a little bit and you should be fine. And now we're on full blast, guys. Going fast, it's going fast. All right. We survived that. Yeah, we survived the fire. We survived the scorching blender over here. We're doing pretty good. We're not surviving, we're thriving. All right, so let's give this nice, beautiful pink color. You'll see when I plate it up. Nice. Has a little bit of that bite, which now I'm going to try with the wine. Creamy, luxurious, but it has this that bite is what's going to tie it with this. Yeah, perfect. All right, so I am gonna add a little bit of salt in here and a little bit of black pepper. And see, that's the beauty of tasting as you go. I tried it before. I'm like, I think it's gonna need some, but let me wait till it purees so you can get the full flavor once it's pureed. And I need a little bit more, so we're gonna add it. Mix it right in here. It's good. So I'm gonna set this aside. We're almost ready to get in the mix here. I'm gonna get hot pan over here. So you guys can see there. Let me put this out of your way here. Boom. We're gonna get this nice and hot. I'm gonna put the olive oil in there. Remember the other half of the olive oil that we didn't use? It's here. We're gonna get this nice and searing hot because we're gonna put the seafood and start searing that for about 1 good minute. We're gonna partially sear it, get a nice color, and then we're gonna dump the sauce in here, and then we're gonna add the fettuccine. So there's gonna be a lot going on at once. And don't forget we have our herbs standing by as well. You have a question over there? No? All right. All right, everybody's ready for this? I hope everybody's excited because I'm excited. I'm back and we're ready to go. All right, so got my shrimp, my scallops ready to go. Like I said, you can use, at this point, if you want to use chicken, you can dice it up into cubes and cook that, get that searing. Or fish, you could add some calamari and make it more like some mussels, some clams. That'd be really nice. Really, really nice. All right. Is Harmeet watching? Any comments that he would like to add from him?
He's been answering some of the substitution questions in regards to wine and
Yeah.
different
Awesome.
pairings.
Yeah, so you guys, we do have Harm on the line. That's a sommelier. You have any questions about the wine or the pairings or any conversation pieces with him? He's answering some messages, so you can just leave the messages. Sometimes I know you guys are shy. Just put the questions, and we can also answer later on. All right. So Niposano, Chianti Rufina, come and get it at Fine Spirits in Cooper City. All right. And I'm gonna check on the fettuccine. You know, the tricky part is the timing. So, but it's all right. You're the chef. You're in control. I know I want this hot, so I'm gonna wait another 30 seconds on this. And no need to rush things. You're better off taking your time and doing it right than going fast, really quick, nowhere. So, congrats to all the teachers that just started school here in Broward. Shout out to you guys and all the work that you guys put in. And congrats to all the students too. You got this. Happy school year. And we dodged a hurricane. All right, so this is nice and hot. Ready. My wine is served, and I'm ready. Now let me check the fettuccine. See what that says. That looks about ready. So, how do you know when the pasta's ready, right? I'm not gonna fling it on the wall. I like my walls. I don't like to damage them. But I've done it before. That's actually pretty cool. If it sticks, it's ready. If it's not, not. Just try it. So this is what you call al dente. Still has a little bit of a crunch, but it's not the soft, wet noodle. Right? I'm gonna turn off the top. I'm gonna turn off the pasta, and we're gonna get cooking. This is hot. Look at that, smoking, smoking. All right, so want to be careful when you slide that in there. You don't want to splash, so you want to put it. See, I did it away from me, so it splashes over there. Not me, not at me. Right? So I got the shrimp on one side, scallops on the other. This should feed a family of 4 or a very hungry couple. Now, everything hit the pan. I spread it so everything has contact with the pan. But now I'm fighting the urge to touch it. And I know that's one of the things in all the classes with the homemade chefs. I'm always telling them, fight that feeling of touching things because you're not moving around things. That doesn't mean you're cooking. You want to master the heat and you're searing. So you want that direct contact with the hot pan. If you move it around, it's going to release moisture from the seafood and it's going to start boiling. It's supposed to gain this nice little crust on one side. You can also, that's why I'm using the tongs because if you want to check one, I'm going to check one of the first shrimp that I put in there. And look at that. Nice and golden and delicious. So I'm going to give it now a little stir because now everything's going to go in the party, in the pot. Well, it's a party. Oh yeah, that's looking nice. So I'm going to put some of the scallions in there. Give a quick little saute. And now we're going to add the sauce, or pink sauce. Yeah. Put all that sauce in there. Now the sauce is going to get even more excited because now we have flavors of shrimp, flavors of scallops, all that sauteed flavor in there. We added the scallions in there. I'm going to put this in a little simmer. Don't go too crazy. And while that simmers, remember the seafood is halfway cooked. I don't want to overcook the seafood, but seafood goes quick. Shrimp and scallops is cooks in minutes. I'm going to strain the pasta, dump it in there, and give it a final taste. And I'm also going to add just a little scoop of pasta water. The pasta water is going to help, give it a little bit of thin out the sauce. Look a little thin for me. And let me strain this guy. All right. The pasta water in Italy is an ingredient. It's not just water, because it's this delicious starchy water that's gonna help thicken up the sauce. If it's like a garlic, like an olive oil sauce. In this case, it's gonna help thin out my sauce a little bit. And we're living on the edge here. It's a full pan. I'm just gonna give this a gentle toss with this tong. Be careful with the tongs. You don't want to squeeze the heck out of everything. So we're just gonna marry everything here. Make sure everything is coated. And the seafood's down there. We're gonna mix it up. We're gonna bring it up. Oh yeah, this is looking delicious. This is ready. You don't need to cook it any further. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of basil in there. We're gonna add a couple more scallions. Now the big question arises: do you add cheese to this? This recipe does not have cheese. Some purists, some purist Italians would say don't add cheese; it's sacrilegious. Uh, but I like sometimes a little Reggiano Parmigiano on this, or some pecorino, and adds a little funk, contrasting funk. And we like the funk, right? So let's plate this up. This is smelling amazing. If you can smell this, you can't. But if you would, you'll be excited as I am right now. All right, so I'm gonna start with a little base of pasta in there. So look at that. Oh, put that in your bowl. I like eating pasta in a bowl. You can use a plate. You can use scissors if you like, whatever you want to eat it with. And there's a little trick, give it a little twirl so you can build it up, this little nice, beautiful mountain. Do one more scoop in there. Oh yeah. This is nice right here. All right. And then I'm going to come back with my spoon and we're going to fish out some of the seafood because this is the good stuff right here. Put a little shrimps in there. Get some more scallops. Oh, right here. Struck gold right here. Boom. And then I'll hit you with a little more sauce. And a couple more scallops. I love the scallops. Scallops are one of my favorite things here. All right. And we're gonna add a little more garnish. A couple more scallions over here. And we can add a little bit more basil as well. Give you a nice freshness. So here we have our shrimp and scallops with a fettuccine and a little vodka sauce. And I'm gonna put just a little more olive oil. That's the Italian way. That looks beautiful, tasty. I'm gonna give you a little close up. And then over here to my beautiful hand model. And look at that. Nice scallops in there. Uh, the shrimp sauteed, the robust pink vodka sauce. It's pink, but it's a pink with a punch. Don't think it's pink. It's not a soft sauce. This is heavy duty good stuff. Paired up with this delicious Sangiovese Chianti. So let me get a spoon of that. And if you guys have any final questions, I got a fork right here. Just gotta give you a little scoop, give you the fresh taste and pairing bite. Let me grab a little scallop. Any final questions? This is the time to ask them, guys. Remember, we have a little contest that we're gonna post right after this. So if you want to stay tuned, uh, we're gonna give a giveaway for a free wine tasting for this Friday's class. And I can't even get a scoop in here. There we go. Mmm, delicious. All right, so I'm gonna say good night. See you guys at, next Tuesday. Friday we have the wine tasting. Last call. Tomorrow morning we're closing out the tickets. Boom. If you don't make it by tomorrow, you're not coming. So you're gonna miss a good one. It's an Italian menu. We're making lamb shank. We're making gnocchi. We're making orecchiette pasta with rapini and truffle bean sauce and pancetta, panna cotta with pistachio and champagne poached peaches. It's really fancy stuff, guys. You're missing out on good stuff. But love you. I miss you. See you soon.